In the pale light of dawn, a silvery mist drifts above the tropical jungle that fringes the Gulf of Mexico. The distant cries of howler monkeys mingle with the rasp of insects, weaving a strange chorus that resonates among age-old trees. Suddenly, the thick canopy parts to reveal a hidden glade where, rising from the damp earth, stands a colossal stone silhouette. It is an immense head, meticulously hewn from a single block of basalt, its heavy-lidded eyes fixed on a far horizon. Massive features, here and there veiled in green moss, seem to guard the memory of a vanished people. In its mute presence, the very air vibrates with the unspoken story of a fallen civilization. This is the realm of the Olmecs, the mother culture of Mesoamerica, wrapped in mystery, legend, and grandeur. More than 3 millennia ago, long before the Maya or the Aztecs lifted temples toward the heavens, an extraordinary culture took shape in the swampy lowlands of what is now Veracruz. The first Olmec villages appeared around 1500 before Christ beside fish-rich rivers and fertile alluvial soils. In time, these modest hamlets blossomed into impressive urban centers. San Lorenzo, its original name lost in the mists of time, became their foremost city. Around 1200 before Christ, San Lorenzo flourished atop a natural rise, commanding the surrounding landscape. There, enigmatic rulers ordered the building of massive earthen platforms and set up monumental sculptures, heralding a golden age. The city reached its zenith about 1000 before Christ, then slipped into decline, perhaps as river courses shifted or resources waned. As San Lorenzo's glory faded, another heart began to beat for the Olmec world. La Venta, perched on an island hemmed by wetlands in present-day Tabasco, thrived fiercely between 900 and 400 before Christ. Here, the Olmecs raised one of the earliest pyramid complexes in the Americas, a vast earthen cone rising above the jungle, a man-made sacred mountain. Around it spread marketplaces, ceremonial courts, altars, and enigmatic sculptures, among them the colossal stone heads. For centuries, La Venta shone as a ceremonial and political beacon, keeping the Olmec flame alive. Meanwhile, settlements such as Tres Zapotes, on the western fringe of Olmec territory, added their own chapters. Tres Zapotes remained inhabited even after La Venta waned, though its former splendor ebbed. By roughly 400 before Christ, the great Olmec cities lay largely abandoned, marking the close of an era. Olmec society was complex and stratified, directed by a powerful elite, likely priest-kings or shamans with both political and spiritual authority. These mysterious leaders, perhaps deemed semi-divine, rallied their people for astonishing projects. Under their guidance, the Olmecs showed early mastery of architecture and engineering. They built raised terraces to shield settlements from floods, laid drainage systems in cities like San Lorenzo, and constructed gigantic ceremonial platforms. Yet their most striking legacy remains their monumental art, the colossal stone heads. Each head, carved from basalt blocks hauled many leagues, bears the distinct features of stern men wearing curious helmets, possibly portraits of eminent rulers. Moving and sculpting monoliths that weighed more than 20 tons demanded impressive social and technical organization. Alongside these marvels, Olmec craftsmen shaped altars with demon and ancestor figures, fashioned delicate green jade statuettes and ceramics portraying humans, animals, and fantastic beings. Among their recurring images stands the jaguar man, mouth agape, fangs bared, head slightly flattened, echo of a mythical tale. Beyond visual art, the Olmecs likely planted seeds of enduring knowledge. They are thought to have devised the earliest forms of the Mesoamerican calendar and even the first shoots of a pictographic script. By tracking the heavens, they divided the year into ritual cycles, helping them time crops and ceremonies. Through such intellectual and artistic achievements, the Olmecs directly influenced later cultures, earning the title Mother Culture of Mesoamerica. Despite these attainments, the Olmecs' spiritual world may be the most captivating aspect of their civilization. With no surviving texts to reveal their beliefs outright, we decipher their myths and rites from the scant images and artifacts left behind. From them unfolds a rich mythic universe, peopled by gods and hybrid supernatural beings. The Olmecs revered nature's forces embodied as fabulous creatures. Earth imagined as a dragon or jaguar-like monster with jaws gaping like an unfathomable cave. Sky ruled by a giant bird whose wings stretch across the clouds. Waters and the underworld guarded by a spirit of the depths, perhaps an aquatic beast. Their pantheon held a maize god, bringer of bounty, and a feathered serpent, barely a whisper in Olmec times, later venerated as Quetzalcoatl by the Aztecs and Kukulkan by the Maya. Most enigmatic is the jaguar man, said in later legends to be born of a mortal woman and a powerfas jungle spirit in jaguar form. This half-human, half-beast appears often in Olmec art. Jade figurines and bas-reliefs show the creature's snarling mouth and crested head, symbols of supernatural power. He may have represented the mythical progenitor of rulers, signifying their direct bond to the divine realm. Olmec rituals seem to mirror these beliefs. Priest-shamans, swaying to drums and incense smoke, sought to commune with spirits, perhaps even to adopt sacred animal forms. Around sacred fires, beneath starry skies, tales of creation and divine struggles came alive, passed down through generations. Myth also framed the Olmec's own disappearance. Legend held that the earth quaked and waters burst their banks, drowning them in divine wrath. Such stories, carried from ancient times, granted the Olmecs both identity and a cosmic explanation, while deepening the mystery that still surrounds this ancient culture. Daily life followed a rhythm set by nature and faith. At dawn, a river mist lifted to reveal bustling villages and towns. In round wattle and daub huts, roofed with thatch, families rose with the tropical sun. Men set out to nearby fields, tending maize, beans and squash in rich, alluvial soil, or headed to fish-filled waters and forest hunts. Women ground grain on stone metates, preparing meals, and crafted clay vessels for household use. Children laughed and played along dusty paths, learning age-old skills. By midday, attention shifted to busy market squares. Traders spread reed mats loaded with goods, baskets brimming with golden maize and tropical fruit, nets shiny with silver fish, hunters bundles of pelts and salted meat. Craftsmen proudly displayed sacred motif ceramics, translucent green jade figurines, and shell jewelry. Barter flowed, maize for obsidian, fish for salt, precious jade for exotic feathers. Wood smoke and cooking aromas mingled with children's laughter, while now and then eyes lifted toward temple platforms, reminders of gods and priests watching over daily life. Though they knew no metallurgy, Olmec technology was ingenious. Armed with stone, wood and bone tools, they built houses, carved monuments, and fashioned farm implements. From rubber tree latex, they molded elastic balls for their famed ritual ball game. Indeed, the later Aztec word Olmec means people of rubber. Packed earth roads threaded jungles, linking villages to major centers for trade and news. Rivers were their natural highways. In dugout canoes, they ferried heavy goods, even hauling basalt blocks from distant quarries for colossal statues. Commerce bound Olmec lands to a wider world. From far mountains they obtained volcanic obsidian, hard and sharp for tools and weapons. From other regions came jade and alabaster, marine shells from distant Pacific shores, and vivid pigments. Thus the Olmecs pioneered a network that spanned Mesoamerica, exchanging not only material goods, but ideas and traditions. Spirituality infused every facet of life, not merely the elite. Communities often gathered for rituals marking agricultural seasons or life's passages. Picture a tropical evening. The sun has set, leaving a radiant moon. Before the main temple of an Olmec city, hundreds stand in respectful silence. Air thick with fragrant copal, torch flames cast dancing shadows on carved altar walls. To hypnotic drums and flutes, the great shaman appears, wearing a jaguar mask and a cloak of vivid feathers. With theatrical grace, he lifts a ceremonial bowl toward the dark sky, offering cacao, ground maize, even drops of his own blood as a sacred pact for tribal prosperity. The crowd watches mesmerized as priests perform ritual dances retelling ancient legends, the creation of the world, the gods' struggle for cosmic balance, the jaguar hero's journey through spirit realms. On a nearby esplanade, youths contest a pelota match, striking a heavy rubber ball with their hips in a spectacle both athletic and sacred, symbolizing the sun's course or life's cycle of death and rebirth. Through grand ceremonies and everyday customs alike, the Olmecs wove the profane and the sacred into a singular, profound tapestry. Yet, no civilization endures forever. Toward the end of the first millennium before Christ, Olmec fortunes darkened. Suddenly their once prosperous cities were deserted, statues toppled, altars buried beneath the sands of time. Mystery cloaks these sites. What ended such a flourishing culture? Scholars propose many theories, none conclusive. Some clues hint that nature turned against them. Major tectonic shifts may have altered rivers or caused land to sink, unleashing devastating floods. A cataclysmic volcanic eruption in the Tuxtla Mountains could have blanketed settlements in ash, sending survivors fleeing. Others point to gradual climate change, a prolonged drought draining crops and water, or conversely, relentless downpours scouring farmland. Human factors are also plausible: weakening leadership, eroded public trust, local revolts, or clan rivalries. Perhaps foreign groups, drawn by Olmec wealth, raided vulnerable towns, though clear evidence of large-scale invasion is lacking. Most likely, a chain of misfortunes, natural disasters entwined with social crises, shook the civilization's foundations, leading ultimately to abandonment. By roughly 350 before Christ, what had been a mighty culture had vanished almost without trace, leaving shattered sculptures and vegetation-covered mounds. For modern archaeologists and later Mesoamerican peoples alike, the Olmec's demise became a source of fascination, a riddle still awaiting full resolution. Yet the Olmec legacy did not perish with them. Their culture sowed seeds that later flowered across Mesoamerica. Successor civilizations, the Maya, the Zapotecs, the Aztecs, and others, reaped Olmec innovations and wove them into their own societies. From the Olmecs, they learned to construct grand ceremonial centers, stepped pyramids, temples, and broad courts for assemblies and rites. Olmec sacred imagery endured, evolving into new deities, the Aztec rain god, or the many jaguar and serpent figures trace back to Olmec sculpture and myth. The sacred, 260-day calendar, later vital to Maya astronomy, likely began with Olmec sky watchers. Even the ball game, with special courts and rubber balls, crossed centuries to become a pan-Mesoamerican ritual. In many ways, the Olmecs were pioneers, the pathfinders. Hence, historians call them the mother culture. They laid foundations and lit the torch of civilization in a land destined to cradle mighty empires. Today, when explorers and tourists walk among Olmec relics, they feel profound awe. Standing face to face with a colossal stone head, touching the smooth surface of a jade mask carved 3,000 years ago, or gazing at a mound that once was a pyramid, one almost feels time's passage made tangible. The civilization left a silent message, etched in stone and buried in earth, that even at humanity's dawn, creativity, faith, and aspiration toward the transcendent blossomed as brightly as in the classical civilizations of later ages. The Olmecs have vanished, yet their achievements echo across the centuries. The mystery of their fate invites reflection on the fragility and resilience of human culture alike. In the jungle that has reclaimed their settlements, among ruins draped in lianas, one might still hear the whisper of ancient shamans and the distant throb of drums. It is an urging never to forget and to keep probing the past. With admiration and respect, we look back to the Olmec civilization, an epic of long-ago days, still alive in its bequest to us and in the haunting question, what other secrets has time yet swallowed?